I'm just trying to find there we go. Hi. Hello, everyone. We are back. Welcome to the Lana Quest show. I am Lana Quest, and I'm always confused when we come back after a brief break of what I need to say. I am your host, Lana Quest. This is my lovely co-host.
Lovely co-host, Honor. And you know what? And I say the same thing each time. So honor to be here. I should change it up, but then I would forget.
No,
yeah.
no,
But I am though. I really am. Like I
exactly.
really feel that way.
And that's the thing. You're honored to be like, that's how I switch up in the beginning only because I forget. Anyway, we do have a lot to talk about because a lot has happened and we were not on last week. So we're going to try to combine last week and all of the updates this week. So we got a lot to talk about. But before we start the show, we did get a new subscriber. So thank you. I am so sorry that I did not write down your name. Yeah, I'm sorry. But thank you for subscribing and I hope you're watching. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. See, I'm sorry. It's just I'm getting the cobwebs. Okay. The cobwebs, they're coming. They're coming out. I know. Look at she's got the fan. That's another thing. Unseasonably warm. What's your temperature?
Unseasonably warm. That's such a great way of putting it. And so y'all might see me fan from time to time because it's unseasonably warm. Although summer's my favorite season, so I'm not going to complain too much.
Mine too. What is your temp? How warm is it?
87, 90. It just doesn't matter. It just does not matter how hot it is. As long as I can find some AC to cool down for a little bit, because I get cold really easily and then go back out and just feel the heat.
Yeah. It went up to, I don't know what it is right now, but it was like 88 today.
It was the same here.
That's great. And you're further south. Like this is Massachusetts. This is just not a thing for us. It's normally the 60s, but it's been pretty warm. I can't complain. I love it. I'm ready to plant. Like I am just ready to get my hands in some dirt, man. But I know we're just chit-chatting. Did you have some tidbits to talk about prior to the start of the show?
No, not prior to, we have, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different topics to get to. And I think
you didn't want to do your honorable mention? You didn't want to do your honorable mention?
I can do that just while we're talking about the 2 shootings, the mass shootings.
Got you.
And law enforcement and stuff like that. So we know that you all have heard there have been 2, actually there have been more than 2, but there have been 2 mass shootings that have occurred since we were on the air. One in Knoxville, Tennessee, Covenant at the Covenant School, killing 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults that worked out to school. The 28-year-old shooter, they went and engaged immediately. I think they said within 14, 15 minutes, they had killed her. They had taken her out. So that was that, but not before these innocent children were murdered. And then last week or this week? Was it this week? It
was the day after, if you're going to talk about Louisville. Didn't that just happen right after? Wasn't it like the day after or 2 days after?
It was
was it this week? See,
this is terrible. Really serious because it's happening too close together.
I don't like this.
The other shooting, it was at First Bank in Louisville, Kentucky. 4 people were murdered, 4 bank employees, I believe, plus the shooter. But there were also 2 police officers wounded. the first police response came up, and this is where my honorable mention comes in. First police response came up in 3 minutes. And a young man, he was on his 4th shift, just out of the academy, has a twin brother that is just coming out of the academy and was shot in the head. His partner continued to engage. You see on the body cam footage, he was shot also, got right back up and killed the shooter. And I just wanted to say, just as far as that situation is concerned, and also here in my city of Baltimore City, where gun violence is definitely a well-known documented problem, I really just want to commend law enforcement on their responses. 3 minutes, putting their lives at risk. That one officer was shot in the head. He is in critical condition, and they do not know if he is going to make it. But 3 minutes, definitely. And if you compare that to the response with Uvalde, the number of officers and the number of fatalities, because they chose not to act, right? So, and then as far as Baltimore is concerned, there were 2 shootings on Easter Sunday. Yes, it does not take a break here. But I want to commend Baltimore City Police Department because and both of those shootings that I mentioned, there were foot pursuits, and they actually caught the suspects with gun in hand. That is really a job well done, because it just like does not happen often.
Right. And then they didn't shoot.
You see the victims' families pleading with the public for answers because the suspect has gotten away or whatever. So, but I mean, just in those instances, we know next week there may be another horrific story about law enforcement, but we do need to document that they're necessary in some regards. We just need them to get to the place of where they really are serving the public in the manner that they should, and then in which these instances demonstrate. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
Absolutely. And going back to the Covenant shooting, and it set off. People at this point are children, mothers, husbands, just everyone is turned off by it, like sickened by it, and don't want to take it anymore. And because of this shooting in Tennessee, with these 6 people murdered, and this person just buying this assault rifle like days prior to, it just something ignited in people, and everyone just rushed to the Capitol.
More importantly, the kids.
Right.
Those kids, bum rushed.
They did
that Capitol along with their parents and other voices in the community to
now was it 2 separate days?
They went 2 separate days.
Right.
It was not
because that first day there were kids, but it was more adults, and the parents were there. And then the second day they had the walkout with the kids, and then they
and that is when, which brings us to which started out as a gun control story, morphed into
and we got some civil rights. I was just gonna say we got a civil rights movement. That's what it morphed into for me. We talking about the white supremacy just came out of everybody in Tennessee.
Well, I was gonna say morphed into a full-fledged show me your whole hand of cards racism face. Like what? It was about gun control. And, now we are going to actually, because we need to go back to Louisville because there's stuff with Kentucky and that whole crap with the gun and everything. But, there were 3 Tennessee lawmakers, Representative Justin Jones, Representative Justin Pearson, and
Gloria Johnson.
Representative Gloria Johnson. Democrats that were not being allowed. They were not even being allowed to speak. They had been enduring their microphones being turned off, just being completely ignored, and them wanting to let these people and these kids know that they were hurt. Because like you said, it was a kids walkout the next day.
Mm-hmm.
They got on the floor during recess, used the bullhorn
Mm-hmm.
to speak out about gun violence, about
Mm-hmm.
gun control laws, about doing something so that we don't have to have 3 and 9-year-olds. Sidebar, watching TV, someone said, do you know what the size of a 9-year-old casket looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we know, because we saw Uvalde. We know.
So, but they decided to hold a vote on them to expel them for breaking decorum.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
expelled them.
Right.
Except
yeah. They did. And except the white lady. And as Honor said, they showed their hands because, like, what you thought? What and what did you thought? What you thought? You up there and not knowing the law? Do you really think that we were gonna let you? Do you really think their districts, when they went back to their local governments, because Justin Jones is out of Nashville, and I think
and one was out of Memphis.
Is out of Memphis. So do you think that they were going to go home to their district and do what? We just going to get somebody else? No, you're the interim now, since that seat is empty. Y'all are the interim, and we're going to take you right back up there, hand in hand, and we're going to sing "We Shall Overcome" and all the Negro spirituals y'all hate. Like,
it was a beautiful sight.
Girl,
we love to see it. We love to see
it. Singing all the Negro spirituals. You know them. Girl, after that leak recording, I got a piece of that. Did you see that?
Yes, I was going to say, because when we talked about this last night, it wasn't even out yet. The stories just keep moving. What?
I am so glad. Honor.
You got people calling me racist.
Right. This is the stuff that we tell white people that goes on in the heads of
they
the
just
racists.
Could not believe in a million years. Happens.
Right. And
these white people don't talk like that. That type of racism don't exist.
Exactly. Like, that's why we call it dog whistles, right? Because y'all didn't know what they were saying until you actually heard the audio. We heard it already. We know that they were calling them uppity, that they can't take over our country with this. Like, we've heard it before. It's the same rhetoric.
They thought only Donald Trump said stuff like that. And, he's just joking,
Yeah. It's not all. Everybody in the South. It's not.
You barely controlled yourself from calling him boy.
Yeah, and I said that too. The boy they just didn't say it, but they would think when that man was like, and when they were voting to expel them, and he was like, and you got what you deserve, and now look at you, boy.
Now look at you. Look at
with
you.
Your uppity self. Yeah. Now look at exactly. Now you eat.
Look at me every day.
Try
to ignore me.
Every day. And now look what they're doing.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Oh, I love it. Because here's the thing. You don't have to let me talk in the state legislature, because I can command a press conference out here on these Capitol steps, and I can get across what I need to get across on a national level. We're going to continue to expose you. You want to continue to turn my microphone off? Oh, everyone's going to know about it.
You want to continue to
shut me down on gun control? Yeah. Everyone's going to know about it.
Absolutely. Hey, Michelle. Hey. Michelle's in the chat. Absolutely. I know you're probably like, huh? What's wrong with you?
But really.
And they
gave Tennessee a voice.
Right. Because they had shut out the voice. And I got a piece of joy a little bit. And Michael Harriot was on there, and he said, I
saw him.
2 powerful things, right? He was like, it's not that Tennessee lacks the Black people, it's that they've gerrymandered
out of it. Because what do you think Memphis is?
Exactly. And that's a lot in a lot of these southern states. Like that's what's going on. The Black people are there. They're just putting them all in one pile. Oh my. And he said, which was very powerful, because, he said, this wasn't about white people. This was about white power. So that is why they were able to.
Yes, I did hear him say. He said because if it was about white people, they would pass gun control.
Exactly.
They do not about white lives. They don't.
No,
they don't.
No.
But white supremacy is not about lives. It is about, it's the very notion of it is power.
And they don't care who they sacrifice. And we've known that. They don't care who gets sacrificed. They've always sacrificed their own. They don't care. But interesting, because I know we got to move on to Louisville, but the governor there, Governor Lee of Tennessee there, you see how he signed that executive order to have
for the red flag. Was it the red flag?
The
enhanced background.
Yeah, the little bit, like he gave a little bit with his executive order. Of course, we want you
to be reelected.
Right. We want you to put it in law, right? But you know that you put this little executive order. It's something.
Here's the thing, well, you know what? The governor of a state works just like the president until the state legislature sends him a bill to sign.
Right.
And
they're not going to do it.
Know what Tennessee politics is going to look like. But I don't, pressure's a heck of a thing.
Right.
And I know we got to move on, but I thought about this briefly. I wonder how many of those state legislatures attend Covenant Church. Because one of the 9-year-olds killed was the pastor's daughter. How are you looking him in his face and telling him that nothing can be done?
Right.
How do you do that?
Right.
Tennessee,
keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. I would not. If you push them to that point, to an executive order, and this is the place, aren't they about to hold that NRA thing? Isn't that in Tennessee? Aren't they doing that convention?
I think it was
it
Nashville?
It's
not going to be holding. They told them no.
Good.
That's why they wanted to cut down their city council. They told no, and so they were mad about that too.
Keep pushing, because it's the trouble, and that's why we love millennials, right? Because millennials don't think about it too much; they just do it. They're not thinking about your feelings. They're not thinking about decorum. Or they don't think about they're gonna think I'm uppity. No, they just do it, and that is what needs to happen. They just need to be shook out of their shoes. So keep it up. Kudos.
Yeah. And so moving back to Louisville very quickly, speaking of laws. So in Kentucky, any gun, any firearm that is confiscated from a crime by state law has to be auctioned off to be put back into circulation. The mayor of Louisville says that there is a state law that even prevents him as mayor. It is an actual crime for him as mayor to make any laws that would affect any type of red flag laws, background checks, not giving the guns to, there's no gun law that he can make that would not be punishable by a crime. So it's going to be, they removed the firing pin, but I mean, if you know how to disassemble a gun, you probably know how to put a firing pin back in. But so that's
almost like
it's going back into circulation. That gun is going back into circulation.
It's almost like getting a gun from the buyback program and then auctioning the guns back
to people to buy.
Right? Like, it's so crazy. Imagine doing that.
Does that just, and here's the thing, like, I've not heard anywhere where or not seen any pictures where like people use their AR-15 to kill a buck, and they're holding their half shattered buck up because half the body's gone because the AR-15 took it out. Like, we know it's going to be used for another mass shooting.
Girl,
we know
just
this.
Know it.
They aren't used for anything else. They aren't used for anything else.
Exactly. And tell me something. Why, Republicans, anybody out there who can answer this question for me? Why is it that Republican states love to have gun manufacturers, arms dealers in their states, but y'all hell bent on blocking any kind of cannabis dispensaries? Like, what? So, like, you prefer to have AR-15s than like some weed smokers? Like, we do they want permitless carry and assault weapons, but they will fight to the tooth about cannabis, about making weed legal.
Cannabis, and let me importantly point out Medicaid expansion that would help them treat the opioid crisis that they have going on in their states. So yeah, let's have a whole bunch of crazy freaking people. And I don't mean in the mental way, but just people that should not be having guns. Let's auction it off. Like, auction is like highest bidder. So I don't know, maybe they $2,000 in the store maybe I need to mosey on over to Kentucky's auction and see if I can get me an AR-15 for like $600.
No, you might as well. I mean, I'm just saying, because if they smoke more weed, they would probably be more relaxed. Ain't nobody smoking weed and going and shooting up nobody. You just trying
weed is the devil's drug.
You just try to get some Doritos.
Weed dancing. What is stop it?
Like alcohol and come on, like, and
Jesus drank wine. Alcohol's okay.
Alcohol makes some ugly, angry drunks, like, for real. Like,
it really does.
You really ain't gonna have too many people even on fentanyl. You ever see them people nod?
No, they not. They not. They are not.
They are not trying to be out here doing nothing. People on weed, they trying to write some bars and some rap songs and listen to Snoop. They ain't out.
Like, haven't y'all seen Snoop? That's what they do.
Right. Y'all need the cannabis. Like, come on.
They need some shrooms, something.
Yeah, like, you may need more drugs. The good drugs, not the bad drugs. People, they're all
maybe they just need a black friend.
That'll work.
Can we all just
what? Or some strip joints. Just like y'all have that. I think we're on to something, Honor. Them in their conservative ways, stringent. You can't do this. Strip shows, naked people. That's just the devil, and this and that. And now you got a bunch of pent up, angry, aggressive men who just want to hurt everybody. Maybe you do need to loosen up. Just a thought.
And get off the internet.
Yeah, I know, because that dude was live streaming in Louisville. He was live.
I know. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yes, they need to get out a little bit more and take some of them young men that live in Louisville with them. That's what they need to do. Because that's crazy.
Oh,
so anyway, we keep up with everything is legal. That is hilarious. I was like, we're gonna keep up with stuff.
Are we going to Clarence now, or are we going to the arraignment?
Well, I have the arraignment, and then wait a minute. Of my 8 topics, I have Trump twice. I have him listed under Trump arraignment and then just Trump troubles. Like, it was just too many. Like, just a hodgepodge. That arraignment, it was the most perfect arraignment.
8:30. Holy cow! What in the world? Oh my God!
Perfect arraignment.
It was a perfect arraignment. It absolutely was.
You know why? Because it happened. It happened. Do people know what we're talking about? Do we want to back up?
Yeah, we have to back up because we cannot skip because we talked about the indictment. We didn't talk about him going to that arraignment. We need to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene going to support him when he went to that arraignment. Trump.
Well, I mean, she didn't really.
Well,
what was she there? 10 minutes. She ain't. Look, we can say Marjorie Taylor can say Marjorie was here, but now she's gone. She left her flag to carry on because she wasn't there like long enough for us to say anything other than she was there.
Thought she was going up in New York with her nun.
Anyway, Trump was arraigned. I don't know.
Can we talk about the whistle guy? Please. Stop. Can we talk about the whistle guy? Please. Because the whistle guy.
We're going to talk about all that.
We're going to talk about all that.
So the arraignment, right? So, because it was akin to OJ's white Ford Bronco chase. And it's so funny because I said that to you as soon as I saw it. It was like, oh my God, it just looked like OJ with the Bronco. And that was all over the news. They listen to our conversations, right? Anyway, aside from that. So anyway, he comes into town and, Marjorie's going to come and like do a rally with his supporters and stuff.
She sure was. All of the supporters. We're going to support the president. He gets out there. They're like, you see her and all these people just all over her. And then the whistle guy the one whistle guy, Republican, who came to support Marjorie, gave out the whistles to all the Trump supporters, gave out whistles to everybody, probably white, who he thought was Trump supporters. So now
white means right and Trump, exactly. And Trump supporters' minds, yeah.
Exactly. So, but Trump supporters.
You've never been to New York. Yeah.
So New Yorkers are like, oh my girl. And then
every time she tried to speak.
George Santos. He was there.
I didn't even see George there. I saw Marjorie coming through the crowd, all covered up. I saw more men than her. Yeah. And then I saw her ass being ushered back.
She gave an interview in her car because she couldn't get back. And saw people outside of the car. Oh my God, they're animals. Oh, but Santos did
go
show
back
up.
To Georgia.
I think Santos is like, I don't know, Marjorie's handmaiden or something like that. So he had to be there with her to support her. But Marjorie
she left him, didn't she?
It showed her leaving, and then all of a sudden it shows Santos like trying to walk real fast to his car while they're trying to. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yes, Trump was
anyway. The arraignment went off. The judge discussed with Trump. He entered a plea of not guilty. Judge discussed with him, stop running your mouth, and so on and so forth. Trump was supposed to give an appearance after leaving the courtroom. He left straight out, went back to his place, Mar-a-Lago, and safely gave a speech from there, calling Bragg all types of names, talking about his wife, talking about the judge's daughter, the judge's family. God, there's so many things to that.
Yeah, there are.
So he's talking. Dang, we just got Jim Jordan. Look, I just said the name. Go ahead, you fill in.
James.
There's no way to even bring Jim in because he's just like he doesn't even belong in it, right?
James Daniel Jordan. And Pops James Daniel Jordan. The head of the clown committee. He must have got that call from Trump and was like, yo, you got to do something to protect me. So what does James Daniel Jordan do? Also known as Do Nothing Jim Jordan, he decides to, what did he do first?
He sent the letter. Remember the letter that he sent?
Well, okay, he sent the letter first to DA Bragg. DA Bragg sent this back. And then James Daniel Jordan subpoenaed Pomerantz or he had
There you
already done
go.
the Pomerantz subpoena first, and Pomerantz
Mhm.
was like, no. DA Bragg was like, no, that's not going to happen. Because, and then, right, Bragg wrote, God, it's so much. Bragg
So
wrote a
Bragg wrote
letter.
another letter. Basically, he's like, it's
Right.
local. This is
Yeah. Mind your
unconstitutional.
business.
And it's for you know what? I get the letters confused. What
Right.
it all boiled down to was,
No.
so Jim thought he was going to push,
James.
and Bragg was like,
right.
And
so,
here's a lawsuit on top of it. Here you
yeah,
go.
Yeah. So everyone's got to be following it, but Jim Jordan is trying to pressure the DA and threaten him with all of this stuff to get him to like do what? Draw this?
No, it is an attempt. No, it is an attempt. The things that he is requesting, it will be all of the active evidence,
right?
Internal notes and stuff that are integral to the active investigation that is going on with the charges against Trump, all for the purpose of being able to pass along to Trump's defense team. It is all, it is
you know what else they want? The
complete.
grand jury identity. And
that
that is
part,
why
right?
Bragg is fighting that.
But it's all in the, once again, in the service of Donald J. Trump. So Daniel Jordan, you said his name was?
Yes.
You
James
might want to take
Jordan.
a page out of Michael, I'm not sure of his middle initial, Cohen's book. When you do things in the service of Donald J. Trump, they don't always end that well. You can. So anyway, Jim's being sued by Bragg. He's like, back up. You like, this is not cool. Is there anything else about that?
A 50-page lawsuit Bragg filed, and it basically says that transparent, you're involved in a transparent campaign to intimidate and attack. Congress lacks valid legislative purpose. And he's right. When do we see Congress flying into a state talking about, I don't like what your DA is doing? Where they do that at? When does that ever happen? That Congress
out.
Do that.
Jim, he filed it in federal court, in New York in federal court. Jim, you about to find out the limits of your power and of Donald's.
Yeah.
You about to get hemmed up.
Yeah.
Because you making moves. And by the way that leak phone calls drop, honey bunch, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. Continue with Donald's troubles. So I have wire fraud, classified map. We took care of threats against the judge, and was watching. So the wire fraud. Jack Smith has now opened another avenue. I fucking love this. Opened another avenue of investigation, wire fraud, into whether or not the claims that Trump made to fundraise between November 3rd and January 21st were made based on fraud. Well, we already know the answer to that. He made more than $250 million in that time period, saying it was for his legal defense fund and saying it was to mount legal costs to overturn the election, none of which are true. That's so easily provable.
It's a slam dunk. Slam dunk.
Lana, here's another thing that I thought about and I haven't heard broached yet. When you commit wire fraud, aren't you sometimes required to make restitution?
Ooh,
like when Bernie Madoff, because that was wire fraud. It was Ponzi scheme, but it was wire fraud. Like
no, you do. Right. You have to pay those
restitution
people back.
when you defraud people, right?
Right. I mean, because look at Trump had to do that with Trump University.
Oh, right.
You had to pay those people back, right? So yeah, and Bannon would have had to do that too if he didn't get, or maybe he did. Pardoned. But do you have to do that even if you get? Oh, right. Yeah, true.
He was pardoned, so it's like he was never committed.
Trump, you ain't getting no pardon. And if Bannon got found guilty of that. Bannon and that
But
other
it's
guy.
was it like 25 million that they raised or something like that?
Or more, Shell. I thought it was 200 million, but I could be wrong.
Oh, for Bannon? I didn't think it.
I thought we were talking about Trump. Sorry.
Oh no, Trump. It was more than 250 million that he raised in that time period alone.
Okay.
So
I don't
they
know
are
about Bannon.
so that's, you know what? It's like, that's a slam dunk.
Yep.
The obstruction of justice in the documents case is a slam dunk. Like, we haven't even gotten back to January 6th yet. Although Fani is somewhat taking care of that part of it down in Georgia. Like, it is crazy.
He got a lot. And the maps that Jack Smith is.
I'm sorry, I did say show classified.
Jack Smith asking people that they're interviewing, did he show you classified map? Like, what?
Did you see this when you were eating dinner with him Wednesday, February 17th at 7:30 p.m. in the general dining room?
Hold on. Wait. We forgot a piece. We forgot, unless we're going back, Trump sat down and had that interview with Tucker Carlson.
Oh, right. Where I had that. All right. Oh, you know what? Under Trump arraignment, I have Trump interview crying. The tears. Not Trump. Trump wasn't crying. The people in court.
Apparently
the police officers, the law clerks, the bailiff.
They were like, sir, we're so sorry that we have to.
So sorry. We apologize that we have to do this.
Sir. Oh, we got to fingerprint you, sir. Sorry, sir.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that this is happening.
I'm so glad we don't have to use the black ink anymore.
Sorry,
we wouldn't want
sir.
that to be on your hands.
You know what was hilarious on Morning Joe when Joe goes to the soda machine? He's like, Trump walked by the soda machine, and the soda machine was like, so sorry, sir. It's like inanimate objects. It's probably like the copy machine is like, sir, we're sorry.
Joe is hilarious as hell, okay?
It's like everybody keeps talking about himself in the third person, and he's calling himself sir in the third. Imagine talking to I talk in the third person. I will be like, Lana, pull yourself together. But I ain't never said, ma'am, get yourself together. Like, Mrs. Quest, pull it together. Like, what?
And you certainly didn't do it on TV in an interview.
I'm going to do it right now. It's time for I'm just kidding. That's like so weird. How do you do that? I can't even do it. That's how
bizarre.
It
just the lies. And I forget which prosecutor was on today, but they was like, for people that really work in that courthouse, it is an insult and a slap in the face, because when you are hired to work there, you are told, do not show your emotions. You cannot be partial. Right. You can't do any of that, because you know what? Right. Donald Trump talking about it like he's somebody. I am sure that in that office, there are people, employees that work there that see their loved ones, that see their friends. Right. That see their neighbors that walk through there every day. And I'm sure they don't go crying for them, even though they really know them. So no one is crying for Donald. Like, it's just not, I've been to court. I've done jury duty. I've seen jurors
the crowd was huge. The crowd was huge.
The crowd was huge.
It was
that
huge.
crowd of reporters outnumbered his supporters.
the gaggle.
Outnumbered supporters.
Oh my goodness. Oh, all right. Let's move on. So want to talk about the Texas judge that halted the approval of the mifepristone.
So the Texas judge on Friday night brought down his ruling that outlawed or overturned the FDA's approval of mifepristone. The DOJ immediately, God, everything is a plot twist. The Texas judge that had been weighing the case for weeks handed down his decision that the mifepristone should be halted. At the same time, there was a separate lawsuit filed by several states' attorneys for several states in Washington state. And that judge came right after and said, slow down, Kyle Pope. Do not enact that order. It went to the appellate court, appellate, right?
Yep.
I'm just giving the basics. And then the appellate court says, yeah, no, you can still sell it, but, you can't deliver it by mail anymore. And yeah, it can't be given after 7 weeks, before most women know they're pregnant because, yeah, it's two Trump appointees. The Bush appointee would have overturned the whole thing. She was like, this should not be, but good old Trump boys. So long story short, it's going to the Supreme Court. All right, let's fill everything in because there's so much with that. My God.
It really is a lot with this. This is awful. I mean, that goddamn judge was handpicked. Like Republicans are just out here just like who?
So the standing, right?
They knew.
The appellate court did not even rule on their standing of these doctors that don't even practice in this field to even bring this suit. And I'm so glad you brought that up because what I was going to say to you right before we came on air is I really need somebody to bring a suit challenging all the ED medications out here and their approval with the FDA. I just need it to happen. Can we make that happen?
Erectile dysfunction for anyone who doesn't know. But it's true because that's exactly.
I mean, where it really matters to them.
But that's what the Republicans did.
And they're hitting us in the hoo-ha. Let's hit them back.
Yeah, they played the long game with us while we were playing checkers back then. They were actually the ones playing chess because they got these people. Like these aren't. The people who filed suit aren't even like just random somebody next door that did it. It's Republicans. Yeah, I'm talking to the people. Yeah.
But you don't have to have standing. So we just need to find someone.
No, I'm saying that's what we need to start to do. Exactly. I'm agreeing with you.
And go after the ED medications because those approvals, late 90s.
Yeah, they haven't been around. They haven't been around for 23 years. Like this pill has been.
No, they haven't. So yeah, I really think to show them how much where your power takes you, it will leave you powerless where you need it most.
Right, exactly. Because what are you gonna do after the Supreme Court rules on this? What are you gonna do when somebody else brings this and says this too? Oh well, not this one. Like that's what you're gonna do. Like.
Precedent.
Sometimes
I think you have to show people they just not looking at the consequences. They don't see any further than right here.
Yeah, you
have to show them long term,
right?
Because everyone is. I mean, even the media, they're like, well, chemotherapy could be next, or HIV medications, or gender affirming care. How about you all just say maybe we should go after the ED market? Throw that out there and see what type of reaction that gets. They always telling us about who's going to be most affected. Let's just turn the tables. We have to do something different. That's just like all of this book banning and stuff. We're the parents. Right. And I'm not saying they're not out there, but like
they're not loud enough. It's not
emergency.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know.
I feel like eye for an eye. You hitting us in the hoo-ha, like I said, we're gonna hit you right back in the same place.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanna control our privates? Let's control yours.
Yeah.
I want to challenge this medication. I don't think it's safe.
Where did I see women marching? Was that in Missouri? That they're in Missouri right now? Oh, Florida. That's right. They're in Florida because today, exactly, they were in the Florida at the Capitol building in Florida. Like it really is an attack on.
You know how you prevent pregnancies?
Yeah.
Don't have sex.
Take away their Viagra. They won't be.
That's what I'm It takes two people.
I mean, I don't know. Didn't Spike
So
Lee
if you
do
want
that?
to take away my ability to protect myself, I'm going to take away your ability to do anything with me.
Okay, Spike Lee
All
was
right,
ahead
I
of the
know we
game.
gotta move on.
No, but what was that Spike Lee's movie? What was the movie where the women stopped having sex because the men weren't acting right? So all the women just stopped. It was a movie. It didn't do well, but like, I'm like, oh, that may be something to that. That may actually need to happen because these fools are making it so rape victims cannot get rape contraception.
Oh yeah, that was passed in
Iowa.
Iowa.
Love, you just
Yeah.
we don't care about you. We care about the raper. So that's who we're concerned about. He's the one with all the rights, not you. You're gonna have this
Yeah.
baby.
So I just really think that
Something's gonna
they just need to be shown
it's gonna happen.
where this can go.
We're at a real it's at an inroad at this point because Republicans are also stupid and greedy, and they will just take until it just implodes, and that's just what's going to happen. It's going to
You know what? We got 9 minutes. Can we do Clarence and do Dominion?
Yeah, of course. I think we can. Clarence is not long. Clarence out here jet setting and traveling and taking luxury trips and not reporting it, and then saying, I didn't know I had to, but you're just a justice. So you
I mean, it's not a long story, but it's a really important story. And I'm going to give some detailed facts here because it really puts it into context. So for over 2 decades, every year, Clarence Thomas has been, well, he said he's been friends with him for 25 years. He's been a justice for much longer. But a man by the name of Harlan Crow was a billionaire, very influential, I want to say in the anti-abortion spaces, has been treating Clarence and his wife, Jenny, to luxury vacations for over 2 decades. ProPublica did an estimate on one vacation, and they valued it at over $500,000. And he does this every year. Never once reported it because he said he didn't think personal hospitality didn't have to be reported.
Again, he's a whole judge. He's a justice. He knows the law. Like, how is that your excuse? How is that your defense? I didn't know. When you are a judge, you're being paid to know these
ignorance
things.
Of the law
you
does not make you innocent of the law.
You can't have ignorance of the law if you're a judge. Then you really need to be resigning. If you are a justice of the Supreme Court and you're claiming ignorance to a law.
Let me tell you something.
If you don't get yourself
500,000 and 500,000 is 1 million. And so he's got like $10 million worth of trips that he needs to explain. And also coming out today, Harlan Crow's same billionaire friend purchased, this is the first reporting on money being exchanged, purchased Thomas's mother's house in Savannah, Georgia in 2014, as well as a couple of additional lots. They're calling it a compound, is what they're calling it to be. For $133,363. There's a law on the books going back to the Watergate era, where any real estate transactions over $1,000, that's 1,000, that's 1,000, yeah, absolutely has to be reported. His mother still lives in the house. After Harlan bought the house, he made very nice renovations. They said new roofing, flooring, just all kinds of nice stuff. As landlord, he pays the property taxes and stuff as he's supposed to. So yeah, that's that.
So Clarence said he just a good old boy. He loves Walmart parking lots. He say he from good stock. He don't know about all that luxury stuff y'all talk about because he just like the simple things in life. It's like,
Harlan bought his mother's house, a house from Clarence, and his late brother's house.
yo, that's so crazy. I need to put some money, get rid of some money for tax purposes type of stuff. Like what y'all doing over here? Because that is exactly what that sounds like. I need to give some money away or something, hide some money because of taxes. Help me. Because that don't even make any sense.
Definitely Democratic Congress is definitely looking into doing some investigations as far as that is concerned, because that's just so disgusting to me. I think the Supreme Court is trash. I really do. Aside from Judge Jackson Brown, Ketanji Brown Jackson. I'm sorry. I and Elena, like those Republicans. There's no ethics, there's no morals, right? And you feel like as someone that is meting out the law, creating law, like you are supposed to have a moral side to you to do the right thing, not personal, the right thing. And
well, there will be a hearing on Supreme Court ethics. The Senate Judiciary announced that, so it will happen.
Good.
I'm interested. I'm very interested to hear, like, what are you going to say, Clarence? I ain't know. Like, for real, man? Stop playing.
Well, speaking of interested, let's end on a hot note. Speaking of court hearings, let's end on a hot note. The Dominion lawsuit.
Fox just got sanctioned. That was just like music to my ears. Whenever I saw that, I'm like, really though? Fox was
sanctioned because all of us sudden more recordings after discovery was done. Recordings made by Abby Grossman, the one that they happened to terminate that has a lawsuit against them, saying some real clear stuff about we don't have no information on Nancy Pelosi's aide being involved with the voting machines, and we don't have that yet, and we still trying to, and well, the Georgia voting machines, I mean, everything basically matched. No, we're not seeing anything. There was just so much. They started jury selection today. This trial starts Monday. Yes. So, when the judge sanctioned Fox for withholding information.
Well, where Fox got that information from?
Where?
The woman who is suing Fox. What's her face?
Yeah, Abby Grossman. That's what I said.
Right. Yeah, Abby Grossman. Yeah, she gave it to Fox.
Well, she gave it to Dominion.
And Dominion.
She gave it to Dominion.
No, she gave it to Fox. And Fox was supposed to turn it to Dominion, I thought.
And because they didn't.
And they didn't, because it was a part of discovery. She had given it to them because of her lawsuit or something like, because remember there's the two lawsuits. So she gave it to them, but they were supposed to turn it over to Dominion. Because of course Dominion is going to ask for any and all of the stuff. And they hid that. What were they thinking? It's just so like
the only thing at this point is how big are the punitive damages going to be?
Well, that judge ain't happy with them.
How big are the punitive damages going to be? And in addition to them being sanctioned by the judge, as you mentioned, they are being sued by their former employee, Abby Grossman. I forget, what is she suing them for? It's not wrongful termination.
No. Was it some type of harassment too, or intimidation or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, because she was speaking about how Tucker Carlson's work environment was and stuff like that. And the fact that she asked for promotions and things and like she wasn't able to. And she was, from what I understand, had come from like some other news outlets. So she was basically well regarded. From what I understand, and this must have been a long time ago, at one point, Fox News was regarded as a real news station.
Yep. And to add insult to injury, a shareholder is also suing Rupert Murdoch,
because they have driven the value down. You think
and the
you
Fox,
haven't?
and the Fox Corp and the board members. Like,
so you know what? So here's the thing: you did all of this stuff for money. And now you're getting ready to come out of money. You ended up dropping your stock price. You tarnished your brand.
Yep. They said Fox, Rupert and company violated their fiduciary duty to the company when they allowed Fox News to broadcast election conspiracy lies.
Mm-hmm.
More shareholders should join.
Also?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I think that's what I read. They in trouble.
Good for them.
Sue the pants off. I hope Shamos and Rudy are suing Fox and Rupert and the rest of these people as well.
Let me tell you something. Fox started this nonsense in 2015, 2016 with Donald's campaign. It is now 2023. We are 7-8 years into this mess, and it has got to stop. I want Dominion to get all the money that they deserve. I would like for Fox for like a whole year to have to continuously run a siren, even during commercials, talking about how they lied. Disclaimer: do not trust anything that you hear on any of our programs.
Like when it comes
on May 25th, 2023,
warning.
Of defamation. Like I just
we have to put a warning before anyone watches Fox News. This is opinion news. Make them change their thing from news. Like it should be Fox Opinions or something ridiculous. Exactly. This is not news, and they've admitted it.
Clown house.
They've always admitted it. Hannity says he's not a journalist. If you're not a journalist, what the hell are you? You're right. Entertainment. We're not leaving until we talk about Dalai Lama. There's no way.
You know what? I was going to save that because I didn't look at anything else with that. So that's why I was like, as I was trying to wrap us up, but go ahead. I didn't. Yeah. Saw and I wanted to. Go ahead. I wanted to actually look into that a little bit more.
Okay, well, Dalai Lama is the principal leader of the Yellow Hat School of Tibetan Buddhism. And we were talking about this last night because we thought he was a monk, but he's a Buddhist, and he's a leader of the Buddhists. And apparently people follow him because they think that he is the reincarnation of the 13 prior Buddhists. I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't know that, but I guess that's his thing. So apparently, I don't know what it was, but he was somewhere. Was he in India? When the little boy, he was in India. And, people just like the Pope, everyone wants to touch the Pope, hug the Pope, get the Pope's blessings. It's the same with the Dalai Lama. The little boy walked up to him and got a hug. They said that after the hug, Dalai hugged him really tight. And then the recording had Dalai Lama, go into the boy and say, "Give me a kiss right here." And the little boy kissed him on the cheek. And then, he's happy about it. Then he's like, wait, he asked for another kiss. And he goes, "Oh, I think here," and pointed to his lips. So the little boy went to kiss him on the lips, and that's when he asked him to suck his tongue. And the little boy leaned into him like he was going to do it, but just like gave a forehead touch, and that was it. But they said people applauded. Like they laughed.
What do you mean?
People laughed and applauded that were there. So I guess the outrage came from us.
Regular people
Regular
that see
people.
that as pedophilic behavior.
Not the
Girl,
people
see,
that because right, we talked about this because those people see him as a god and they will literally give their kids to somebody because they think that like, oh my God, he's it's asinine. They
okay, we definitely need to follow up on this some more because people are literally giving their kids over to, you know what I'm like,
and that's probably why we're not hearing outrage reverberating because their people clapped and applaud like they didn't have a problem with any of this. It was us. Mm-hmm. And Cardi B wasn't having it. So that was like, I like that you sent me. Right. She was like, oh no, this is
that's exactly what that type of behavior is.
Right, exactly. That is why you don't follow organized religion. Like we were just talking about that. Like it's just you can't anymore. You just truly can't. These people are just insane, and it's just a breathing ground for people who are out of sorts and who are looking for other things. It's a breeding
ground for trauma.
Yeah,
for trauma. I
abuse.
Don't know who would be more traumatized if my 6-year-old came home and was like, hey, mommy, let me suck your tongue. What did you just say to me? Where did you learn about that?
Right. And we were talking about that. We're like, there's no way in the world Mr. Llama is not watching pornography because where they do that at it. Other than pornography, like, oh, when you're in some very erotic situation, like you just don't.
Right. That is not, you're not even seeing that on any of the steamy sex scenes on How to Get Away with Murder or anywhere like that. Like they're not being you might kiss, you might see, but you're not that whole sucking on the tongue, biting on the lip, that type of stuff is, and I'm not saying it's abnormal. That is not normal stuff that you would see on TV.
Right.
I told you
it's not random.
9.5 weeks. What was what I did?
A Caligula. Like it is not a random thing. It's not a random thing. It is something that you do. It is y'all know it is very intimate. Why in the world with the Pope or the Dalai Lama or Bishop?
Well, let's just say the Dalai Lama because we do not want to put the Pope. It was the Dalai Lama. No, like seriously, I just want to be because it's a terrible story, and this is not about the
anybody.
Pope, so, yeah.
I know.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I know. Right.
Why would
but I'm just
anybody
saying, like, with it being so
of any stature of any. Wow, that was just kind of crazy. Like, I didn't even know until like I opened that and like really read it. Like, wait, he did what?
I want to, and I want to because
His Holiness.
People are just giving him his children.
His Holiness. His Holiness often teases people he meets.
I don't they could offer up 5 gazillion excuses. It is going to look the same, read, sound the same way to me. There is something wrong with that. That is not what
87 years.
How of their kids, let alone some stranger. The Dalai Lama is a stranger.
Girl.
You don't know that man.
He has been doing this for decades and decades. He is 87 years old. This is not the first time that this man has said this. This is the first time that it has just came out of his mouth.
Mic moment, and the right person heard it as a hot mic moment.
Exactly. Because this is absolutely not the first time. It's too easy for him. And this is what predators do. This is where predators go. They hide in this stuff. We know this.
Oh, absolutely.
So Dalai Lama, it's just like any other predator. Yeah, that's pretty sick, man. Thanks for coming, Michelle. Fresh Eats. Hey.
Yes.
Sorry, I did have quotes. Anna didn't let me do them.
I'm sorry. You know what? Nope, it's Trump's fault. It was Trump's judge in the Texas decision. It's Trump's news station in the Dominion lawsuit. Trump got his own troubles. And
you know what? Let's end on not talking about Trump. Let's end on inflation is down. Let's go there. Thank you, Biden. Thank you, Biden. Inflation is at 5% for March. In February, it was at 6%. In June of 2022, it was at 9%. Stop playing and give Biden his due. That is down 5%. You may not be feeling it at the grocery store yet, but it's going down. It's getting better.
And also, wanted to also go ahead and give a shout out. Black unemployment hits a record low. For the first time ever.
That too is at 5%, right? I think that is at 5% as well. And that joint was at 17% years ago. I think it's
we're sitting at 5% right now.
Yeah. So we're chugging along. You know, all the news has been about Trump, but you know, Biden's keeping his head down and he's doing the work.
And staying out of Trump's troubles. Let Trump deal with that himself.
Exactly. Yes, that's right.
You know what, girl? It's hot as fire. Let's get on up out of here.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
We will see you next week. Probably have more news. Oh, the trial will have started. We will definitely have news.
Yeah, that hopefully it'll probably be a week. Yeah, probably be the week after before we get a judgment. It ain't gonna be that long. It can't be.
Well, okay. So they're seating a jury. Everything is supposed to start Monday. Well, we know there's going to be news right out the gate because they're going to sit Rupert down lickety split. So that right there is just going to be very interesting.
Oh, there's cameras in this, right? Yeah. Are there cameras? I didn't hear that there were not cameras.
Girl, don't make me take a week off so I can watch court TV. Stop playing.
I think there might be cameras because they didn't say
Stop playing. This is going to be the trial. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good.
I mean, if we saw Alex Jones. That should be record. Yeah, this is gonna be good. I hope it's televised. Oh my gosh. Especially if what's his name? Murdoch takes the stand. It's gonna be nice. Yeah. Hey, Brian. Oh my God, where have you been? We're logging out. Logging off, Brian. You're late.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
Bye. Bye, guys. Brian, come